Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Being recorded. Okay, good.
Now we know.
Anyway, I think the people who financed it were expecting him to cast it with all local actors. But we only had 2 local actors in there, me and I forgot who else was in it. But
now I remember you did something with Ellen Polaranapoulou.
Well, I did, but she wasn't part of that one.
No, I know. You did something at the community theater, though. You guys had like a little company, didn't you?
Yeah, she created something. She created one act play that we toured the schools with. Called,
but you did I think you did something, like you guys read the play.
Well, you're thinking of King Lear and
Macbeth. It was at Honolulu Community College.
Nice.
I mentioned 2 plays at Honolulu Community College. Yeah, and she directed us in that. Yeah.
I mean, you and her shared an apartment in London, right?
Yeah, that was a little bit. I won't go into a long story until you come here and we're sitting having coffee or a beer or something. I'll tell you the whole story, but it takes too long to tell. But
no. All right.
I found out she. I don't want to say
took advantage of you.
She asked. Yes, she took advantage. She asked if she could stay there for 3 months while the owner, or the guy who was owning it, was away. And she ended up manipulating me. And I'm Mr. Good Guy. I want to help everybody. She said, Peter, it would be helpful if I could stay here longer. Is that okay? And I said, well, okay. And it went on and on and on and on and on.
Right.
So
she's no longer with us, right?
No, yeah, she wanted to be. Here's another part of the story. When everybody finally had to evacuate the building because they were going to tear it down because it was old. She asked me if I would please marry her, so she could get, because I'm a British citizen, so I have medical coverage, free.
By the way, do you ever go back?
I haven't been back for about 11 years.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it has. Wow. Mostly I want to go back more often, but it's financial. Yep. So,
there's Ann. Say hi.
Hey, Ann, yay. Look for you next month. Romeo and Juliet.
There's Mikey.
Hi, Mikey. Peter, hi.
Hi.
Where's the missing person? Oh, there she is.
That's Layla. This is Dan Marie.
Hi.
Oh, let me look. I can't see everybody.
I thought you had met before. I guess not, huh?
I'm not sure, but maybe at Kahala Mall, but
that's what I think. No, I don't think she made it to Kahala. At least
no, she did. She was there.
Yeah.
Peter's birthday.
Peter's birthday.
Oh, that's what it was. Yes.
Right.
Linda won't be able to come. I'm
Uh-huh.
letting you know. Linda won't be able to come. So I'm telling
you.
you.
Let everybody know, really.
Well, Anne's right there in the background. Have her come forward.
Oh, you're a sly one, Jim.
What happened to Linda?
She's at the airport. She's waiting for someone, and they're late.
Oh dear.
Well, we usually have good excuses. I'm not sure that's a good one.
That's the one.
All right.
Well, we're waiting for Una. She was raring to go with that role.
And everything is all covered now?
I don't know.
If Una arrives, I guess.
The big bad aloof Prince Bertram is Mikey, along with Paige and Stuart. The King of France is Richard. You got the most lines, just having that.
Well, all right. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to take the part.
The ailing King of France.
I love that part. Oh. I love you all.
The
Mr.
Duke,
Fistula.
the Duke and Clown, aka Lavach, is Peter.
Yeah,
You can take up
the
some
Duke of
of.
Florence. Is his name Florence?
Yes, Duke
Okay.
of Florence, but it's only a little short
But you,
scene
yeah, but,
in like Act 2 or something.
but you could just call me Florence.
Let's just cut it out.
Hey, bro!
I'll tell you what,
Cutscene.
Peter.
Yeah.
Since you got 93, I was conscious of all the numbers here. I was number
Okay.
conscious. I drank coffee or something. And Linda isn't showing, and Una's going to play Helena. Peter, you can pick up Diana
Sure.
and
Act 4,
Mariana.
both together, speaking
Oh.
to each other.
Uh-oh.
I did the show, that's how I know.
Well, Leilani, you get Mariana?
Sure.
Mariana and Messenger. And Peter, you got
I'll
Diana
write it down.
and a stranger. Who is a stranger? I'm kind
A
of.
stranger is actually what it really is.
Oh, that makes a little more sense than a stranger.
Well, he is a stranger to the people that meet him, and so they just meet him in the forest on the way to the castle.
Okay, Peter, you got that?
You can do that one.
So
Your Diana,
which one? I've got.
your stranger,
Yes.
and your Duke, and the clown, Lavanche,
Okay.
which gives you.
The
Diana is the one that that Bertram falls in love with. I think.
I think so. You're right.
All right.
I don't see anything about it. See here for stranger.
A stranger.
I'll get to my light.
You
Oh,
will point
or
out.
a stranger or a stranger.
That's right. A stranger.
It's,
A
yeah,
stranger. Okay.
that's the one. Stranger.
Stranger. Yes.
Leilani is missing from the scene.
I think
Where
she
are
already
you?
knows. I think she
Continuing
already knows.
on,
Yeah.
when we get Una, she's going to be a hell of a surprise to get Helena.
Yeah.
Although she wanted to read Helena.
Oh,
Oh, perfect.
Leilani,
fate has dealt her the hand of.
it was meant to be.
You must have met. Oh, so beautiful. Oh, this is all working out so beautifully.
Leilani,
That's
you got Una's number?
I don't have her number.
Dang it.
Oh,
That's an email.
We got to make sure she shows. Because we're riding on her right now.
oh.
Gotta plug
What's
my
the
phone.
worst that can happen?
The worst that could happen is
Doesn't
that Peter
show up
could play
and you
another
do
part.
Good Helena.
You read that.
Can I make it
It
worse?
is leaving.
I can think of how to make it better. No.
All-purpose Peter today.
He's the Swiss Army knife of the group.
That's right.
Please help us.
You know, I did see another group that does Zoom Shakespeare, and it was pretty good. It was really good.
I've seen
Yeah,
3 or 4 of them that are on the internet. What is it called? I Love Shakespeare blog. It's called on Facebook. And,
Wow, we got competition, huh?
So they're
I sent
better.
it to you,
They're
too.
better than we are.
They're British.
They're brilliant. They're brilliant. They obviously have it on the screen because they're able to back off the screen and have body language and everything. They're able to like stand up and
I've
move
seen
back
them.
and come
I've
forward.
seen them hand over a letter to the next person, and they, of course, reach over and grab the letter. I've seen that done too. It's just amazing that they do that.
Oh, to make it look like they're in the same room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a
Tony
direct-
Pasculi or no, it was R. Kevin, I guess, that experienced with it in Married Wives in his Zoom version a couple of years ago with Eden Lee Murray playing Falstaff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when she joined us right after that.
Peter, grab this letter. It's to your right.
What?
Grab the letter to your right.
On my
Hand it over to
screen,
me.
I'm to the right.
Hand it over to me. On the left.
I think we need rehearsal for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a date for Romeo and Juliet?
I do.
August?
I have the music and the tape.
No, but how about a date?
A date? Oh yeah, it's August 8th.
Okay.
It's the second Sunday in August.
Gosh, I haven't had a date for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, you are so lucky.
Also, 29th, we need to have another play. If you want to decide, Richard.
Hamlet.
Oh my God, help you.
In person?
Hamlet, yes. It shall be Hamlet.
I know the lines. I mean, some of the lines.
Yes. You also know Richard III.
No, I don't know that
I
well.
thought you knew that. You and
I
Anne did a wonderful Richard and Anne
Yeah, no.
at Barnes and Noble.
Julius Caesar. I can play. I can do Mark Antony.
Julius Caesar.
Wow. You memorized that part, you mean? You know that
Yeah,
whole part?
Mark Antony. Yeah, I did. Shoots.
Wow.
Did a shoot.
I did it in Las Vegas.
Ah,
Wow.
Theater in Las Vegas. Yeah,
did you have to wear glitzy
man.
clothes?
we had
Oh,
neon. No, we didn't.
Did people actually show up?
Yeah, it was at the university.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Okay.
UNLV.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's next to the free buffet and the gambling slots.
Well, that would have been a good idea. That's
They have to
true.
show up. Well, they have to walk through that area to get.
Yeah. In the lounge. Yeah.
They have to
Julius
walk.
Caesar in the lounge.
In the lounge. It's in the lounge. Piano
At
accompaniment.
Caesar's Palace. What a great concept, right?
Are we still waiting for Una?
That is it. Yes. Yes, we are.
Shall we just start and then she can just join us when she arrives?
Well, she's got about the fifth line, I think.
A what?
She's got about the fifth line in the script in Act 1.
Is she the
Let's
countess?
start and let Peter take that part.
So,
Countess.
yeah.
Countess Bertram and
So- To continue with the roll call, I'm Dumaine Brother 1 and Parolles, the coward, weird guy with the, I don't know, they set him up.
I have this
Yeah.
wonderful scene with you. I love it.
You're Le Few, or Le
Yes.
Fou, or Le Few. So, with the pen, it's France. Hey, it is up to you. And Dumont, number 2, and that's you, Jim.
Yes.
Okay,
I
so
looked it up on the original, what do you call, portfolio, the folio version. It says FEW. But for some reason along the line, it was made more French. So that's why I kept,
But French, good. It's always had the.
yes.
because instead of making French more English, they decided to make the French actually more French.
That's not enough.
Anglicanizing,
Oh.
maybe. I don't know.
Come, we go.
Yes.
Actors to the stage. Actors to the stage.
I think the French are the only country that has never tried to claim Shakespeare.
Oh,
Okay?
sacré
Am I
bleu.
wrong?
It's because,
We don't want him.
yeah, it's
Probably.
the big,
Probably concerning some of the material of the plays.
I only played the imaginary invalid.
I think
That's
it's mainly because of, if you look at
all I
him
know.
lift, you can see.
All I know is farce, French farce. Farce.
Yep.
What?
Moliere.
Yeah, that's what I do. I like
That's
that
what
farce.
you do. I bet you do good.
I do it good. I'm a good one.
Okay, let's set the scene. Go ahead. Let's set the scene.
Who's doing that?
That
Michael.
my script needs to warm up.
Actors to the stage. Actors to your stage places on the stage. Welcome to All's Well That Ends Well by William Shakespeare. Brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank and Catherine Cook. Act 1, Scene 1, Roussillon, the Count's Palace. Enter Bertram, the Countess of Roussillon, Helena, and Le Fou, all in black.
In delivering my son from me, I bury a second husband.
And I, in going, madam, weep o'er my father's death and you. But I must attend his majesty's command, to whom I am now in ward, evermore in subjection.
You shall find the king a husband, madam. You, sir, a father. He that so generally is at all times good must of necessity hold his virtue to you, whose worthiness would stir it up where it wanted, and rather than lack it where there is such abundance.
What hope is there of his majesty's amendment?
He hath been abandoned by his physicians, madam, under whose practices he hath persecuted time with hope, and finds no other advantage than in the process, but only the losing of hope by time.
This young gentlewoman had a father. Oh, that had! How sad a passage 'tis, whose
Yes.
skill was almost as great as his honesty. Had it stretched so far, would have made nature immortal, and death should have play for lack of work. Would for the king's sake he were living, I think it would be the death of the king's disease.
How called you the man you speak of, madam?
He was famous, sir, in his profession, and was his great right to be so. Gerard de Narbonne.
Ah, he was excellent. Indeed, madam. The king very lately spoke of him admiringly and mourningly. He was skillful enough to have lived still if knowledge could be set up against mortality.
What is it, my good lord, that the king languishes of?
Oh, a fistula, my lord.
Ooh.
A
Ooh.
fistula.
Ooh.
I heard not of it before.
Well, I would it were not notorious. Was this gentleman the daughter of Gerard de Narbonne?
His sole child, my lord, and bequeathed to my overlooking. I have had hopes of her good that her education promises. Her dispositions she inherits, which makes fair gifts fairer. For where an unclean mind carries virtuous qualities, their commendations go with pity. They are virtues and traitors too. In her they are the better for their insimpleness. She derives her honesty and achieves her goodness.
Oh, your commendations, madam, get from her tears.
'Tis the best brine a maiden can season her praise in. The remembrance of her father never approaches her heart, but the tyranny of her sorrows takes all livelihood from her cheek. No more of this, Helena. Go to, no more, lest it rather be thought you affect a sorrow than to have.
I do affect sorrow indeed, but I have it too.
Moderate lamentations is the right of the dead. Excessive grief, the enemy of the living.
If the living be enemy to the grief, the excess makes it soon mortal.
Oh, how
Madam,
understand we that?
Madam, I desire your holy wishes. Doesn't everybody's script have that in there?
Yes, yes, I do.
A few.
Good.
The few?
Be thou blessed, Bertram, and succeed thy father in manners as in shape. Thy blood and virtue contend for empire in thee, and thy goodness share with thy birthright. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. Be able for thy enemy rather in power than use, and keep thy friend under thy own life's key. Be checked for silence, but never taxed for speech. What heaven more will, that thee may furnish, and my prayers pluck down fall on thy head. Farewell, my lord, 'tis an unseasoned courtier. Good my lord, advise him.
We cannot, the best that can attend is love.
Heaven bless him. Farewell, Bertram.
The best wishes that can be forged in your thoughts be servants to you. Be comfortable to my mother, your mistress, and make much of her.
Farewell, pretty lady. Oh, you must have hold the credit of your father.
Oh, were that all? I think not of my father, and his great tears grace his remembrance more than those I shed for him. What was he like? I forgot him. My imagination carries no favor in it but Bertram's. I am undone. There is no living, none. If Bertram be away, 'twere all one that I should love a bright particular star and think to wed it. He is so above me in his bright radiance and collateral light. I must be comforted not in his sphere. The ambition in my love thus plagues itself. The hind that would be mated by the lion must die for love. 'Twas pity, though plague, to see him every hour, to sit and draw his arched brows, his hawking eyes, his curls, in our heart's table, heart too capable of every line and trick of his sweet favor. But now he's gone, and my idolatrous fancy must sanctify his relics. Who comes here? Oh, one that goes with him. I love him for his sake. Yet I know him a notorious liar. I think him great away fool, solely a coward. Yet these fixed evils sit so fit in him that they take place when virtue's steely bones look bleaked in the cold wind. Withal, full oft we see cold wisdom waiting on superfluous folly. Save you, fair queen. And you, monarch? No, and no. Are you meditating on virginity?
Aye, you have some stain of soldier in you. Let me ask you a question. Man is enemy to virginity. How may we barricado it against him?
Keep him out.
But he assails, and our virginity, though valiant in the defense, yet is weak. Unfold to us some warlike resistance.
There is none, man. Sitting down before you will determine you and blow you up.
Bless our poor virginity from underminers and blower-uppers. Is there no military policy how virgins might blow up men?
Virginity. Virginity being blown down, man will quicklier be blown up. Mary, blowing him down again, with the breach yourselves made, you lose your city. It is not politique in the commonwealth of nature to preserve virginity. Loss of virginity is rational increase, and there was never virgin till got virginity first lost. That you were made of is metal to make virgins. Virginity, by being once lost, may be 10 times found. By being ever kept, it is ever lost. 'Tis too cold a companion, away with it.
I will stand for it a little, though therefore I die a virgin.
There's little can be said in it. 'Tis against the rule of nature. To speak on the part of virginity is to accuse your mothers, which is most infallible disobedience. He that hangs himself is a virgin. Virginity murders itself, and should be buried in highways out of all sanctified limit, as a desperate offendress against nature. Virginity breeds whites, much like a cheese, consumes itself to the very powering, and so dies with feeding his own stomach. Besides, virginity is peevish, proud, idle, made of self-love, which is the most inhibited sin in the canon. Keep it not, you cannot choose but lose by it. Out with it. Within 10 years it will make itself 10, which is a goodly increase, and the principle itself not much the worse. Away with it.
How might one do, sir, to lose it to her own liking?
Let me see. Marry, ill, to like him that ne'er it likes. To the commodity will lose the gloss with lying. The longer kept, the less worth. Off with it while 'tis vendible. Answer the time of request. Virginity, like an old courtier, wears her cap out of fashion. Richly suited, but unsuitable. Just like the brooch and the toothpick, which wear not now. Your date is better in your pie and your porridge than in your cheek. And your virginity, your old virginity, is like the one of our French withered pears. It looks ill, it eats dryly. Mary, 'tis a withered pear. 'Twas formerly better, Mary, yet 'tis a withered pear. Will you anything with it?
Not my virginity yet. There shall your master have 1,000 loves. A mother, and a mistress, and a friend, phoenix, a captain, and an enemy, a guide, a goddess, and a sovereign, a counselor, a traitress, and a dear. His humble ambition, proud humility, his jarring concord, and his discord dulcet, his faith, sweet disaster, with a word of pretty, fond, adoptious Christendoms that blinking Cupid gossips. Now shall he, I know not what he shall, God send him well. The court's a learning place, and he is one.
What one, in faith?
That I wish well. 'Tis pity
What's pity?
that wishing well had not a body in it, which might be felt, that we the poorer born, whose baser stars do shut us up in wishes, might with effects of them follow our friends, and show what we alone must think, which never returns us thanks.
Monsieur Parole.
Paroles, my lord calls for you.
Little Helen, farewell. If I can remember thee, I will think of thee at court.
Monsieur Paroles, you were born under a charitable star.
Under Mars, I.
I especially think under Mars.
Why under Mars?
The wars hath so kept you under that you must needs be born under Mars.
When he was predominant.
When he was retrograde, I think rather.
Why think you so?
You go so much backward when you fight.
That's for advantage.
So is running away when fear proposes the safety. But the composition of that your valor and fear makes in you is a virtue of a good wing. And I like the wear well.
I am so full of businesses, I cannot answer thee acutely. I will return, perfect courtier, in the which my instruction shall serve to naturalize thee. So thou wilt be capable of courtier's counsel, and understand what advice shall be thrust upon thee, else thou diest in thine unthankfulness, and thine ignorance make thee away. Farewell. When thou hast leisure, say thy prayers. When thou hast none, remember thy friends. Get thee a good husband, and use him as he uses thee. So, farewell.
Our remedies oft in ourselves do lie, which we ascribe to heaven. The fated sky gives us free scope, only doth backward pull our slow designs when we ourselves are dull. What power is it which mounts my love so high, that makes me see and cannot feed mine eye? The mightiest space and fortune nature brings, to join like likes and kiss like native things. Impossible be strange attempts to those that weigh their pains and ease, and do suppose what hath been cannot be. Whoever strove to show her merit, that did miss her love, the king's disease. My project may deceive me, but my intents are fixed and will not leave me.
Scene 2, Paris, the King's Palace. Enter the King of France with letters and diverse attendants.
The Florentines and Senois by the years have fought with equal fortune and continue brave in the war.
So 'tis reported, sir.
Nay, 'tis most credible. We have received it, a certainty, vouched from our cousin Austria, with caution that the Florentine will move us for speedy aid, wherein our dearest friend prejudicates the business and would seem to have us make denial.
His love and wisdom proved so to your majesty may feed our amplest credence.
He hath armed our answer, and Florence is denied before he comes. Yet, for a gentleman that means to see the Tuscan service, freely have they leave to stand on either part.
It may very well be serve a nursery to our gentry, who are sick for breathing and exploit.
What's he comes here?
The Count Rousillon, my good lord, young Bertram.
Youth, thou bearest thy father's face. Frank nature, rather curious than in haste, hath well composed thee. Thy father's moral parts mayest thou inherit too. Welcome to Paris.
My thanks and duty are your majesty.
I would I had the corporal soundness now, as when thy father and myself in friendship first tried our soldiership. He did look far into the service of the time, and was discipled of the bravest. He lasted long, but on us both did haggish age steal on, and wore us out of act. It much repairs me to talk of your good father. In his youth he had the wit, which I can well observe today in our young lords, but they may jest till their own scorn return to them unnoted, ere they can hide their levity and honor. So, like a courtier, contempt nor bitterness were in his pride or sharpness. If they were, his equal had awakened them, and his honor, clocked to itself, knew the true minute when exception bid him speak, and at this time his tongues obeyed his hand. Who were below him he used as creatures of another place, and bowed his eminent top to their low ranks, making them proud of his humility. In their poor praise he humbled. Such a man might be a copy to these younger times, which, followed well, would demonstrate them now, but goers backward.
His good remembrance, lies richer in your thoughts than on his tomb. So in a proof lives not his epitaph, as in your royal suite?
Would I were with him, he would always say, methinks I hear him now, his placid words, he scattered not in ears, but grafted them to grow there and bear. Let me not live. This his good melancholy oft began on the catastrophe and heel of pastime. When it was out, let me not live, quoth he. After my flame lacks oil to be the snuff of younger spirits whose apprehensive senses all but new things disdain, whose judgments are mere fathers of their garments, whose constancies expire before their passions. This he wished, I after him do after him wish too. Since I nor wax nor honey can bring home, I quickly were dissolved from my hive to gain some labourer's room.
You are loved, sir. They at least lend it that you lack you first.
I fill a place, I know it. How long is Count? Since the physician at your father died, he was much famed.
Some 6 months since, my lord.
If he were living, I would try him yet. Lend him an arm. The rest have worn me out with several applications. Nature and sickness debates it at their leisure. Welcome, Count. My son's no dearer.
Thank your majesty. Scene 3, Roussillon, the Count's palace. Enter Countess, steward, and the clown.
I will hear now. What say you of this gentlewoman?
Madam, the care I have had to even your content, I wish might be found in the calendar of my past endeavors. For then we will wound our modesty and make foul the clearness of our deservings, when of ourselves we publish them.
What does this knave here? Get you gone, sirrah. The complaints I have heard of you, I do not all believe. 'Tis my slowness that I do not, for I know you lack not folly to commit them, and have ability enough to make such knavery as yours.
'Tis not unknown to you, madam. I am a poor fellow.
Well, sir.
No, ma'am. It is not so well that I am poor, though many of the rich are damned. But if I may have your ladyship's good will to go to the world, Isabel the woman and I will do as we may.
Wilt thou needs be a beggar?
Well, I do beg your good will in this case.
In what case?
In Isabel's case, and mine own. Service is no heritage, and I think I may never have the blessing of God till I have the issue of my body, for they say bonds are blessings.
Tell me thy reason why thou wilt marry.
Oh, my poor body, madam, requires it. I am driven on by the flesh, and he must needs go that the devil drives.
Is this all your worship's reason?
Faith, madam, I have other holy reasons, such as they are.
May the world know them.
Well, I have been, madam, a wicked creature, as you and all flesh and blood are, and indeed I do marry that I may repent.
Thy marriage sooner than thy wickedness.
Well, I am out of friends, madam, and I hope to have my friends for my wife's sake, yes.
Such friends are thine enemies, knave.
You're shallow, madam, and a great hand friends, for the knaves come to do that for me, which I am a-weary of. He that is my hand, my land, spares my team, and he that gives me leave to in the crop. If I be his cuckold, he's my drudge. He that comforts my wife is the cherisher of my flesh and blood. He that cherishes my flesh and blood loves my flesh and blood. He that loves my flesh and blood is my friend. Ergo, he that kisses my wife is my friend. If men should be contented to be what they are, there were no fear in marriage. For young Charbon, the Puritan, and old Polisson, the Papist, Howsome'er their hearts are severed in religion, their heads are both one. They may jowl horns together, like any deer in the herd.
Wilt thou ever be a foul-mouthed and calumnious knave?
Prophet I, madam, and I speak the truth the next way. For I the ballad will repeat, which men full true shall find. Your marriage comes by destiny, your cuckold still sings be kind.
Get you gone, sir. I'll talk with you more anon.
May it please you, madam, that he bid Helen come to you. Of her I am to speak.
Sirrah, tell my gentlewoman I would speak with her. Helen, I mean.
Was this fair face the cause, quoth she, why the Grecian sacked Troy? Thus fondant, was this King Priam's joy? With that she sighed as she stood, with that she sighed as she stood, and gave the sentence in. Among thy bad, if one be good, among thy bad, if one be good, there's yet one good in 10.
What? 1 good in 10? You corrupt the song, Sirrah.
one good woman in 10, madam, which is the purifying of the song. Good God would serve the world in such a year. We'd find no fault with the tithe woman if I were the parson. 1 in 10, quotha. And we might have a good woman born, but every blazing star or at an earthquake could mend the lottery well. A man may draw his heart out of ere pluck one.
You'll be gone, sir knave, and do as I command you.
Well, that man should be at woman's command, and yet no hurt done. Though honesty be no Puritan, yet it will do no hurt. It will wear the surplice of humility over the black gown of a big heart. I am going, forsooth. The business is for Helen to come hither. Adieu.
Well now.
I know, madam, you love your gentlewoman entirely.
Faith, I do. Her father bequeathed her to me, and she herself, without other advantage, may lawfully make title to as much love as she finds. There is more owing her than is paid, and more shall be paid her than she'll demand.
Madam, I was very late, more near her than I think she wished me. Alone she was, and did communicate to herself in her own words, to her own ears. She thought, I dare vow for her, they touched not any strangest sense. Her matter was, she loved your son. Fortune, she said, was no goddess that had put such difference betwixt their two estates. Love no god that would not extend this might, only where qualities were level. Diane, no queen of virgins, that would suffer her poor knight surprised, without rescue in the first assault or ransom afterward. This she delivered in the most bitter touch of sorrow that e'er I heard virgin exclaim in which I held my duty speedily to acquaint you withal. Since, in the loss that may happen, it concerns you something to know it.
You have discharged this honestly. Keep it to yourself. Many likelihoods informed me of this before, which hung so tottering in the balance that I could neither believe nor misdoubt. Pray you leave me. Stall this in your bosom, and I thank you for your honest care. I will speak with you further anon. Even so it was with me when I was young. If ever we are nature's, these are ours. This thorn doth to our rose of youth rightly belong. Our blood to us, this to our blood is born. It is the show and seal of nature's truth, where love's strong passion is impressed in youth. But our remembrances of days foregone, such were our faults. Or then we thought them none. Her eye is sick on it. I observe her now.
What is your pleasure, madam? Oh, wait. I know my pleasure. Una. Una.
Has Una arrived?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yay! You're saving us all from my Helena rendition.
Ladies and gentlemen, the role of Helena will now be played by Una.
So, where are we right now?
Act 1, Scene 3,
Okay.
line 132.
What is your pleasure, madam?
You know, Helen, I am a mother to you.
Mine honorable mistress.
Nay, a mother. Why not a mother? When I said a mother, methought you saw a serpent. What's in mother, that you start at it? I say I am your mother, and put you in the catalogue of those that were to wound me, mine. 'Tis often seen adoption strives with nature, and choice breeds a native slip to us from foreign seeds. You ne'er oppressed me with a mother's groan, yet I express to you a mother's care. God's mercy, maiden, is it courage or blood to say I am thy mother? What's the matter, that this distempered message of wet the many-colored iris rounds thine eye? Why? That you are my daughter?
That I'm not.
I say I am your mother.
Pardon, madam. The Count Rosalian cannot be my brother. I'm from humble, he from honor name. No note upon my parents, he's all noble. My master, my dear lord he is, and I, his servant, live and will his vessel die. He must not be my brother.
Nor I your mother?
You're my mother, madam. Would you were so that my lord your son were not my brother? Indeed my mother, or were you both our mothers? I care no more for than I do for heaven. So I were not his sister, kept no other. But I, your daughter, he must be my brother?
Yes, Helen, ye might be my daughter-in-law. God shield you, mean it not. Daughter and mother, so strive upon your pulse. What, pale again? My fear hath catched your fondness. Now I see the mystery of your loneliness, and find your salt tears head. Now to all sense 'tis gross. You love my son. Invention is ashamed against the proclamation of thy passion. To say thou dost not. Therefore tell me true, but tell me then 'tis so. For look, thy cheeks confess it, one to the other, and thine eyes see it so grossly shown in thy behaviors, that in their kind they speak it. Only sin and hellish obstinacy tie thy tongue, that truth should be suspected. Speak, is it so? If it be so, you have wound a goodly chew. If not, forswear't. However, I charge thee, as heaven shall work in me for thine avail, to tell me truly.
Good madam, pardon me.
Do you love my son?
Your pardon, noble mistress?
Love my son?
Do not you love him, madam?
Go not about. My love isn't a bond whereof the world takes note. Come, come, disclose the state of your affection, for your passions have the full approach.
Then I confess, here on my knees before high heaven and you, that before you and next unto high heaven, I love your son. My friends were poor but honest, so is my love. Be not offended, for it hurts not him that he is loved of me. I follow him not by any token of presumptuous suit, nor would I have him till I do deserve him. Yet never know how that desert should be. I know I love him in vain, strive against hope, yet in this captious and intelligible sight, or is it sieve? Was it?
Sieve.
I see.
Sieve.
Sieve.
I'm sorry?
A sieve.
Sieve. Okay, sieve. I still pour in the waters of my love, and like not to lose still, thus Indian-like, religious in mine arrow, I adore the sun that looks upon his worshipper, but knows of him no more. My dearest madam, let not your hate encounter with my love, for loving were you do, but if yourself, whose aged honors cites virtuous youth, did ever in so true a flame of liking wish chastely and love dearly that your Diane was both herself and love, O then give pity to her who's stayed in such that cannot choose but lend and give where she is sure to lose, but seeks not to find that her search implies, but riddle-like lives sweetly where she dies.
Had you not lately an intent, speak truly, to go to Paris?
Madam, I had.
Wherefore, tell me.
I will tell truth, by grace itself I swear. You know my father left me some prescriptions of rare and provide effects such as his reading and manifest experience had collected for general sovereignty, and though he willed me in his fullest reservation to bestow them, as notes whose faculties inclusive were more than they were in note, amongst the rest, there is a remedy approved set down to cure the desperate languishings whereof the king is rendered lost.
This was your motive for Paris, was it? Speak.
My lord, your son, made me to think of this. Else Paris and the medicine and the king had from the conversation of my thoughts happily been absent then.
But think you, Helen, if you should tender your supposed aid, he would receive it? He and his physicians are of a mind. He that they cannot help him, they that they cannot help. How shall they credit a poor unlearned virgin when the schools emboweled of their doctrine have left off the danger to itself?
There's something hints more than my father's skill, which was the greatest of his profession, that his good receipt shall for my legacy be sanctified by the luckiest stars in heaven, and would your honor but give me leave to try success, I'd venture the well-lost life of mine on his grace's cure by such a day and hour.
Dost thou believed?
Aye, madam, knowingly.
Why, Helen, thou shalt have my leave and love, means and attendance, and my loving greetings to those of mine in court. I'll stay at home and pray God's blessing in thy attempt. Be gone tomorrow, and be sure of this, what I can help thee to, thou shalt not miss.
Act 2, Scene 1, Paris, the King's Palace. Unto the King, attended with diverse young lords, pity for the Florentine war, Bertram and Paroli.